I never thought I'd be the one to cause such a mess in my family. It all started when my brother Mike got engaged to Rachel 6 months ago. At first glance, Rachel seemed like a nice person. She was polite, friendly, and got along with most people. But as we got to know her better, our family's opinion of her started to change, and not for the better. The first time Rachel met our family, things didn't go as smoothly as we'd hoped. Our family has always had a quirky sense of humor, and we tend to tease each other a lot. It's all in good fun, and we never mean any harm by it, but Rachel didn't seem to understand that. She took everything so seriously, getting offended at the most harmless jokes. Whenever someone would tease her, even in the lightest way, she'd sulk and withdraw. We thought maybe she just needed time to get used to our family dynamic, but as time went on, it only got worse. Every family gathering became a challenge with Rachel around. She had this uncanny ability to make everything about herself. If someone talked about their job, Rachel would immediately jump in with a story about how much harder her work was. When we'd share funny childhood stories, she'd interrupt to talk about how tough her childhood had been, completely missing the point that we were just joking around and having fun. It got to the point where we couldn't have a single conversation without Rachel somehow turning it into a competition or a pity party for herself. What really started to grate on everyone's nerves was how she tried to change our family traditions. We've always had certain ways of doing things, especially during the holidays, but Rachel seemed to think she knew better. She'd suggest changes to our plans because they didn't fit her vibe. It felt like she was trying to mold our family into something that suited her better, without any regard for the traditions and customs we'd built over the years. The final straw came during Thanksgiving. My mom has always been an excellent cook, and her holiday meals are something we all look forward to. But Rachel, in her infinite wisdom, decided that my mom's cooking needed improving. She took it upon herself to add her own spices to one of the dishes, acting like she was doing us all a huge favor. The look on my mom's face when she realized what Rachel had done was heartbreaking. It wasn't just about the food. It was about the disrespect Rachel showed towards my mom and our family traditions. After months of this behavior, I could see that the rest of the family was starting to distance themselves from Rachel. We'd all tried so hard to like her and make her feel welcome, but it seemed like the more we tried, the more she pushed back against our family's way of doing things. It was exhausting, and frankly, it was starting to affect our relationships with Mike too. Then came the day when Mike asked me why our family was being distant with Rachel. I knew this conversation was coming, but I still wasn't prepared for it. I took a deep breath and decided to be honest with him. I told him that while we all tried to like Rachel, she'd been stepping on everyone's toes since day one. I explained how she didn't seem to respect our family's dynamic and how her behavior at family gatherings had been pretty off-putting. I mentioned the constant one-upmanship, the sulking, and the attempts to change our traditions. I even brought up the Thanksgiving incident, trying to help him understand why it had upset us all so much. I thought I was doing the right thing by being honest with my brother. I figured he deserved to know the truth about why our family was struggling to connect with his fiancée, but I had no idea of the storm I was about to unleash. Mike, it turned out, told Rachel everything I'd said. And Rachel, well, she didn't take it well at all. She called me, sobbing uncontrollably, accusing me of ruining her relationship with our family. She said she didn't feel welcome anymore and that I destroyed any chance she had of fitting in. It was a painful conversation, and I found myself at a loss for words. I hadn't meant to hurt her feelings. I was just trying to be honest with my brother. But the fallout didn't stop there. Mike was furious with me. He said I should have kept my mouth shut, that I had no right to say those things about Rachel. He accused me of being jealous and trying to sabotage his relationship. It was like he couldn't even see the valid points I'd made about Rachel's behavior. All he could focus on was that I'd upset his fiancée. My parents, bless them, tried to stay out of it. They didn't openly agree with what I'd said, but they didn't disagree either. I could tell they were torn between wanting to support Mike and acknowledging the truth in my words. Their silence spoke volumes, and I knew they were just as uncomfortable with the situation as I was. Now, Rachel is demanding an apology from me. She says she won't attend any more family gatherings unless I apologize for what I said. Mike is backing her up, insisting that I need to make things right, but I'm torn. On one hand, I feel terrible for causing such a rift in the family. I never meant for things to escalate like this. But on the other hand, I don't feel like I said anything that wasn't true. Rachel's behavior has been a problem, and pretending otherwise won't make things better in the long run. I've spent countless nights tossing and turning, replaying the whole situation in my head. Should I have kept quiet when Mike asked me? Was I too harsh in my assessment of Rachel? Maybe I could have found a gentler way to express my concerns. But then I think about all the times Rachel has made our family gatherings uncomfortable, all the times she's disrespected our traditions and customs, and I can't bring myself to regret being honest. The whole situation has put a strain on my relationship with Mike. We used to be so close, but now there's this tension between us that I don't know how to resolve. I miss the easy companionship we used to have, the inside jokes, the late-night phone calls. Now, every interaction feels forced and uncomfortable. I worry that if I don't apologize, I might lose my brother for good. But if I do apologize, am I not just enabling Rachel's behavior? I've tried talking to friends about the situation, seeking their advice. Some say I should just apologize to keep the peace, even if I don't mean it. Others say I should stand my ground because Rachel needs to understand how her behavior affects others. Everyone seems to have a different opinion, and I'm more confused than ever. Part of me wonders if there's a compromise to be found. Maybe I could apologize for the way I express my concerns without taking back the substance of what I said. Or perhaps I could suggest family counseling, a neutral space where we could all air our grievances and work towards a solution. But then I worry that might just make things worse, giving Rachel another platform to make everything about her. As the days go by, the tension in our family continues to grow. Every family gathering is now fraught with awkwardness. Mike and Rachel have stopped coming to most events, and when they do show up, the atmosphere is so tense you could cut it with a knife. I miss the easy laughter and warmth that used to characterize our family get-togethers. Now, everyone seems to be walking on eggshells, afraid of saying the wrong thing and setting off another argument. I've tried reaching out to Mike a few times, hoping to clear the air. But each time, he shuts me down, saying he doesn't want to talk about it unless I'm ready to apologize to Rachel. It's frustrating because I feel like we can't move forward unless we actually discuss the issues at hand. But Mike seems content to pretend that the problem is entirely my fault, rather than addressing Rachel's behavior. The worst part is, I can see how this is affecting our parents. They're caught in the middle, trying to maintain relationships with both of their children while also dealing with a future daughter-in-law who doesn't mesh well with the family. I can see the stress and sadness in their eyes, and it breaks my heart. They should be enjoying this time, looking forward to welcoming a new member into the family. Instead, they're constantly worried about keeping the peace and walking on eggshells around Rachel. As time goes on, I find myself questioning everything. Was I wrong to be so honest? Should I have found a more diplomatic way to express my concerns? Or was I right to speak up, to try and address the issues before they became even more deeply entrenched. I go back and forth, never quite sure if I made the right choice. There are moments when I'm tempted to just give in and apologize, to say whatever Rachel wants to hear just to make this all go away. But then I think about the long-term implications. If I apologize now, am I setting a precedent that Rachel can behave however she wants without consequences? Am I enabling behavior that will continue to cause problems in our family for years to come? I've even started to wonder if this situation is a sign of deeper issues in Mike and Rachel's relationship. If Rachel is so quick to take offense, so unwilling to adapt to our family's dynamic, what does that mean for their future together? Will Mike always be caught in the middle, torn between his wife and his family? It's not a pleasant thought, but it's one that keeps nagging at me. As the days turn into weeks, and the weeks into months, the situation remains unresolved. Family gatherings continue to be tense affairs, with Rachel and Mike often absent. When they do attend, Rachel's behavior hasn't changed. She still tries to make everything about her, still fails to understand our family's sense of humor. It's like my honesty with Mike changed nothing except to make everyone aware of the elephant in the room. I find myself longing for the days when our family was closer, when we could all laugh and joke together without fear of offending anyone. I miss my brother, miss the easy relationship we used to have. But I also can't bring myself to apologize for speaking the truth, for trying to address a problem that was affecting our entire family. So here I am, stuck in this impossible situation, torn between my love for my brother and my belief that I did the right thing. I don't know how this will all play out, don't know if there's a way to resolve this that will make everyone happy. All I know is that I never meant for things to turn out this way, never wanted to be the cause of such discord in my family. As I look towards the future, I can only hope that somehow, someway, we'll find a path forward. That maybe, with time, Rachel will come to understand our family better, or that Mike will see the validity in our concerns. Or perhaps we'll all learn to adapt, to find a new normal that works for everyone. But for now, all I can do is wait and hope and try to navigate this complex web of family dynamics as best I can. In the end, I suppose that's all any of us can do when faced with difficult family situations. We make the best decisions we can with the information we have, and we hope that love and understanding will eventually win out. It's not easy, and it's certainly not always pleasant, but it's what family is all about. And despite everything, despite the tension and the hurt feelings and the uncertainty, I know that our family bond is strong enough to weather this storm. It has to be, because in the end, family is all we've got.